Hello, my name is Wilton Quattlebaum. I'm the hiker minister at Hillcrest Baptist Church. Basically, we have a ministry to people that are walking along the Florida National Scenic Trail. It's one of the 11 federal trails in the United States, and we were blessed that it comes right by our church. And there's a dynamic or a group of people that are not being reached, and so many of them are out of a secular humanist or atheist background, a lot of agnostics, and we have a unique opportunity here to share the gospel with them. And the foundation actually, it comes from like Hebrews 13:2. Literally, the Greek word for hospitality is two words that are jammed together, and it means love to a stranger. And that's what we try and do. Is in the Old Testament, you saw over and over, even the Jews were instructed to treat the sojourner or the traveler coming through it as honored guests in that Near Eastern culture. And whenever they come through here, that's how we try and embrace them, is we try and show them Christ's love, one person at a time. And this is a ministry that we started, and we lost the building and all in the storm, and y'all guys just totally blew me away. I come in to teach on a Sunday morning for a Sunday school class, and they're like, oh yeah, Amelia Baptist Church just sent a check for $8,000 so the hiker ministry can continue. And I had to go sit down for a minute. We didn't know how we were going to do it. I mean, and we hadn't discussed anything like that at all, and it was amazing. The association wanted the ministry to continue. Out of the 1,400 miles of trail, no churches were really reaching out to them at all. 1,400 miles across Florida, from the Keys all the way to Pensacola. And these people they're very intelligent people, they're very moral, but they were also very lost because so many of them don't know Christ. And because of you guys, we are the first church to actually have a building focused specifically for the hikers, that'll have beds for them, and when they come in, we welcome them. We keep up with an app where they're traveling, and most of them let us know ahead of time when they're getting close. And these are secular people that I think almost 90% of them have at least a 4-year degree. 60% plus have advanced degrees. In this past year, we had 3 college professors through here, and they're secular humanists almost, or Buddhist. We've had everything from modernism to postmodernism to some of the hikers from France, even out of Islam. The thing is, they're not the enemy; they're the mission field, and that's how we approach it. We try and take the time to show them Christ's love, one person at a time, and we'll prepare a meal and sit down with them and answer any questions they have about Christianity. And we do it from an unoffendable approach. They can't offend me about what I believe, and I don't try and offend them. I try and love them, and at the same time, I don't alter the doctrine of the gospel, because that's the power of God for salvation, is the very word of God. But you approach it out of love, and it's very interesting because most of the hikers have a straw man idea of what Christianity is until we started this ministry. And last year in South Florida, so many of them had really bad experiences, even asked them to fill their water bladders or water containers at churches or to sit in the shade and cool off. And yeah, I don't try and defend that. I'm like, they sin too. They mess up, and it's okay. That's not what the gospel's about. And let me tell you about Christ. And they come through here, and a lot of times they have questions, and they connect on social media, or they'll send me messages on my phone, and they ask questions constantly. I got two the other day from France. A couple of the guys that had come through. One of them was from France, and the other one went over and hiked with him. They were doing the Chameleon Trail, the one that goes through Spain, through the monasteries, and they were going through some of the monasteries, so they had questions about that. And then sometimes we get people through here that are really curious about Christianity. This past year, one of the guys doing the Eastern Continental Trail came through, and he had all these questions. And I spent about 4 hours one evening with him. The next morning, about 2 or 3, almost 3 before he left. And he finished his hike, went back home. He's an engineer in North Carolina. And then about a month later, he called me. He's like, "Hey, Will, can I come talk to you for a little bit?" And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. What can I help you with?" And he's like, "I got some questions about this whole sin nature thing." And I'm like, "Yeah, by all means." So this guy drove from North Carolina down here, sat for 6.5 hours, and allowed me to share the gospel of Jesus Christ with him. And these guys it's an intellectual approach, and it's a lot of apologetics, but it's a lot of love. And once they know that you love them and you care about them, then they really care what you have to say. And they realize that I'm not like hitting them over the head with something, but I actually care about them enough that I want them to have a relationship personally with the Lord that created everything. All this wonderful beauty that they see when they're hiking the trail all points to a creator. And this year we've had several that come out of Catholicism that had a lot of questions. The secular lady that's over one of the local chapters, she was so curious. Whenever she came through, we had a group that was here doing trail maintenance. We had about 50 to 60 mostly non-believers that come here and camp like everywhere over here, tents everywhere, because they asked me, can we come up here and camp for 3 days and do maintenance on the trail? And a lot of the guys were curious about things because they had questions. By all means, come on. I mean, I love it. It's an opportunity. We were out here building the deck whenever they came up and camped, and we sat out here till 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. And a lot of them were like, "Well, that's offensive," and I'm like, I understand why. I used to feel that way too, and it's okay. I mean, and at the same time, they could tell that I really cared about them. When you come at it from that position and that perspective, you reach people out of love. And the hiker ministry, we've actually wound up writing a guide and exporting this to other Southern Baptist churches that are on the trail, because the hikers told another pastor down south about what we done up here, and he called me. He's like, "Well, y'all gotta have a guide for this, so we can, because you get a lot of section hikers that are hiking, 100 miles, 200, 300 miles. So while they reach the same through hikers, an entirely different dynamic of short-term hikers, and a lot more of them. And our director of missions, Dr. Duggar, had just hit me up like 3 or 4 days before, said, y'all guys need to write up a guide for this. I'm thinking, nobody else would really be interested in this, you know. We love it because God laid it on our heart to love these people. And the next meeting, I'm like, okay, Doc, I'm sorry. I repent. You're good. And but we wrote the guide and we shared it with Matt Thompson down in Lee County, and he shared it with their association and some other churches down there that were interested. So maybe there'll be more people ministering to these people.